Hello, I'm Jason Kiley, and why am I doing this? Cue the intro music. Alright, no intro music yet. So anyway, why am I doing this? A very Simon Sinek very question. Why? Start with why. I am doing this because I feel like I've reached the age of wisdom and I want to record my wealth of knowledge for all to enjoy, learn from, and expand upon. Doing this just for myself, for my children, and for anyone who wants to listen. So that's why I'm doing this. Where do I go from there? My goodness. A little bit about me. We'll start there. I grew up in Southeast Michigan. I have family in all the big three, so I'm very loyal to the American auto industry. At least we'll get to that. I used to be. So, grew up in Southeast Michigan. Parents divorced when I was quite young. My mother raised basically all three, my brothers and I, three boys, while starting her own business, running a business, raising three boys, putting us through private schools, and eventually meeting my stepdad along the way. My stepfather was a nuclear engineer, very intelligent man, very well-read man. Taught me a lot of things, taught me how to play chess, and introduced me to a fellow named Nikola Tesla, who I very much admire. Growing up, I was a kind of curious kind of guy where I always like to take things apart. If I could get a hold of my dad's tools and take a toy apart, I would love to do that and just try to figure out how it works. That kind of led me down the path of being a mechanic and engineering field. But before I even got into that, my hobbies progressed into radio control cars, which were majority of them were electric, at least at the hobbyist level. I learned a lot with radio control cars, battery electric motors, and more along the lines of suspension, lots of different tuning, a lot of mechanics, gear ratios, which translated very well into big cars, automotive stuff. I was lucky enough to switch to a public school that actually had a vocational program. Couldn't get into the automotive program right away, so I ended up taking a welding class. Took 2 years of welding, took 2 years of auto mechanics, and graduated from high school. Was able to get a job right out of high school doing mechanic type work. It led me into more of the prototype work. A very good path to take. But eventually ran out of steam, and I realized the importance of going back to school, getting an education, and found a class that was geared as an associate's degree for automotive engineering. Very well dedicated mathematics, engineering, physics, geometry, whatever. Everything rolled into one, which was very well suited to just the practice of engineering the automobile. I've since worked in virtually every aspect of the auto industry, where I worked from mechanics, technicians, I've worked for auto parts stores, I worked tech service phone lines, I've worked in the dyno lab testing engines, anything from race engines to durability engines, diesel engines, everything, and testing components like transmissions and turbochargers. The dyno world has taken me all around the auto industry, internally, research and development, which was very fun. I've even worked as a supervisor and engineering coordinator, coordinated capture test fleet vehicles, which are pre-production vehicles ready for prime time, drive them, shake them down, report back issues. Very, very fun experiences. And now, one of my latest profession has changed a bit as a result of some things I've viewed on YouTube, and got me in contact with a new employer, which I will get to later, and has taken me yet down another path of the auto industry and industry in general, which is going to be quite enlightening in itself. I love learning, so it's going to be really enjoyable while I'm there. Plus, I really trust the leadership of that company. But like I said, more on that later. Outside of work, I've got probably too many hobbies to list, and many things I do want to start talking about. And quite honestly, I have returned to the radio control cars, and it's working with old tech all the way up to current kind of stuff, which has been mind-blowing, and the advancements that have been made. But I've also gotten into woodworking and upcycling, recycling old materials. It's been a journey to kind of get over some perfectionism and learning how to work with flaws in materials, and admiring the beauty in the flaws. I've also get into I've been playing ice hockey for a long time now, and love that sport. There's nothing else like it. Lots of lessons learned just from that game, observing the game, and being in it. It's like a high-speed chess game that's going on in your mind. It's pretty intense. I also have gotten back into playing with video, which I've also done as a kid, and now that I have children of my own, my daughters have been really into watching some YouTube stuff, so decided to start doing a YouTube channel with them, and that is the Kiley girls, and maybe some people have seen it. Yeah, they're cute, but it's more about us making memories together. I'm a constant learner. I've learned I just love to learn, and as a result, especially in the last 5-6 years or so, I've really taken off on a journey of just learning as much as I can about anything that interests me. The beauty of the smartphone is we actually have the world's information at our fingertips, and you can learn a lot off of it without getting a formal education in that sense. In many ways, I believe that it might actually replace or somewhat usurp the conventional education system. Granted, certain things aren't censored. Anyway, getting into things I've learned, I've studied things like leadership. Simon Sinek is a great resource there. There are several others. Entrepreneurship, disruptive changes, things that really affected the markets and affected things that actually have affected my job in the past. And tried to understand why and how this comes to be. You lose a job as no result of your own, and you wonder what went wrong, and it helps to know this kind of stuff. I've also worked at some historic places in the auto industry, so I've learned a lot about the history of the automobile, fascinating technological races that happened from World War II all the way up till present day. I'm kind of a neuroscience nerd, where I like to explore what's going on in the brain, how psychology of the brain, learning different philosophies. Like Tim Ferriss basically has stated Stoic philosophy as a form of like downloading an operating system on your brain that helps you thrive in high stress environments. And I have to admit it. There's a lot of good that comes out of something like that, and I think that's something that a lot of people should learn, and these things should be taught more in schools. Might help with a lot of sensitivities these days, you know. Other things I've learned, like the Socratic method and how that kind of relates to engineering root cause analysis, and it also relates to first principles thinking, something that Elon Musk has been very famous for talking about, and changing the way we think about things, and how to develop new solutions for problems. It's asking the right questions. You know, it's breaking things down to its essence and then building it back up. Very, very interested. Old mythologies are also an interest. I love Old Norse mythology. I love Celtic mythology. These are actually, somewhat rooted in my heritage. Greco-Roman is also very, very cool mythologies. Many of these things still have a lot of influences in our lives today. Very fascinating subjects. Outside of that, I also, on the physical side of things, I still play as much ice hockey as I can. I will for as long as I'm able to. I play with some guys in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, so yeah, there's a lot of hope, a lot of time left. Mountain biking as much as I can. That's the best form of cardiovascular. Don't understand why people like running. It's never had the runner's high. And weight training is another one that I really like to do. Just gotta stay strong. Everything I've learned in life has all come full circle to the point where everything seems to be interconnected from one thing to the next, and it's also why I feel like I've reached the age of wisdom, and I don't know, maybe 40s will do that, and maybe the white stuff here, it tends to command a little bit more respect from people when you start to talk to them, which I find fascinating and starting to enjoy it. But like I said in the beginning, I feel like I need to record the wealth of information that I've absorbed and put it out there for all to see, and if they can, expand upon it. And that's awesome. And why not have a digital log of all that for future generations too? We'll see. Thanks for listening. Until next time. Caffeine is great. You alright, buddy?
Insight. And those three things, I've had these insights a couple weeks ago now. They've stuck, and they filled me being more present. Every little...
What's your problem? You want to get in the hot seat? You want to go over here? Come on, sit up. Up up. Show everyone who you are. Come here, come here, come here. Come here. Come here, old man. This is the old man. Yeah, he's... Go boy. Love you. Alright, now go down and be quiet. Hello, everybody. Who am I? I'm Jason Kiley, and already screwing up.